and Shisho is constantly protecting her. But sadly, Fran was still getting hit by many goblins. Fran still continues fighting because she wants to become stronger. Fran was very weak if she ran away at a time like this. She also wanted to control the sword and learn all the magic that Shisho had, so Fran would try to take out these goblins alone. Shisho finally agreed to Fran's wish, and he would use healing magic to heal Fran's wounds. With support like this, Fran would definitely be able to defeat the goblins. The battle was finally over, and Fran reached level 12 by killing over 100 goblins. Fran's current body condition was more tired from the previous fight, but Fran was still walking around the forest because some goblins might be left. Then, not far from Fran's previous location, she found a goblin lair. This lair was different from what Shisho found at that time. At first, Fran wanted to attack the goblin's lair alone, but this time, Shisho seriously forbade it. He didn't want Fran to get tired and lose focus while fighting. Then Shisho told Fran to return to the location of the goblin pile earlier. He would absorb all the abilities of the goblins from their core stones. After absorbing the abilities of the goblins, the previous adventurers came to Fran in the forest. They were surprised that a kid like Fran could defeat this many goblins. Then Fran told the adventurers of the goblin lair she had found earlier. The adventurers didn't expect a goblin lair like this to exist here. A month ago, this cave didn't exist yet, and it was likely that this was a dungeon that had suddenly appeared. Then one of the adventurers told Fran to return to the city because Clint, the guild leader, wanted to ask Fran a few things. This goblin dungeon would be guarded by adventurers until morning, so Fran didn't have to worry. After Fran and Shisho arrive at the Adventurers Guild, Clint wants to know more details about the goblin attack in the forest. Then Fran explained this with the help of Shisho. In the forest, there were already more than 100 goblins that Fran had killed. Among them were around more than 20 species of high-level goblins. Fran also said that there was a goblin lair in the forest. According to the information she got from the adventurers in the forest, this goblin lair was a dungeon. Hearing that, Clint immediately gathered the F-rank adventurers up. This city lacked the highest-ranked adventurers because Amanda and Forland, the A-rank adventurer, weren't here. The goblin dungeon probably already contained a high-level goblin species, and its strength was also extraordinary. So tomorrow the adventurers from the city of Alessa will immediately go to the place of the adventurers guarding the forest tonight. Clint also asked Fran to join the adventurers party. She would immediately be given a rank increase by Clint right now to take this emergency quest. After that, Fran and Shisho went to Garrus' shop to fix their equipment. Garrus was shocked to learn that Fran and Shisho had killed more than 100 goblins in one day. Shisho also said that tomorrow they would enter a dungeon that appeared suddenly in Alessa's forest. After Fran's equipment was repaired, they went to the inn to rest. When Shisho saw Fran's status, he was pleased because Fran's level and ability had increased drastically. Also, 3 new titles were appearing in the status window. Among them were thousands of obstacles, assassins, and goblin slayers. These 3 titles are useful for Fran because they have an added advantage when fighting later. Then they immediately went to sleep to prepare for the next day's stamina. Then they visited Garrus' shop for a while, and Garrus happened to have finished the scabbard that Shisho wanted. He speeded up the creation process because Fran wanted to eradicate the goblins in the dungeon today. Shisho was very happy because he was able to get a comfortable scabbard, and this scabbard could open by itself when Shisho wanted to use telekinesis. After that, Fran and Shisho joined the party of adventurers as well. Donodrin, as the leader, told all party members to defeat the Goblin King and Queen. This dungeon that appears suddenly has a core stone controlled by a monster, commonly called a dungeon master. But suddenly, the goblins attacked the adventurers, and they were forced to fight the goblins now. Unfortunately, adventurers fight without a strategy and without maximum cooperation. Then Fran also started helping the adventurers and would go into the dungeon alone. Funnily enough, the goblins completely avoided Fran and left her alone. This can happen because Fran has the title of Goblin Slayer, so ordinary goblins must be very frightened when they see Fran's aura like this. Since the entrance of the dungeon was blocked by the goblins, Shisho had Fran use flight and explosion magic to break into the dungeon. This suddenly appeared dungeon was created by the goddess of chaos. According to rumors and legends, all human races were trained and tested to eradicate the monsters within. Dungeons are formed when the goddess of chaos creates a dungeon core, then the power of that core will spread to monsters or other living things around it. After that, one of the monsters or living things will become the dungeon master controlling the core power. Whoever became a dungeon master had excellent knowledge and could build mazes within dungeons. Some ancient dungeons even had high-level rare monsters and animals. Of course, after successfully conquering the dungeon, anyone could take all the treasures in the dungeon. This treasure had been provided by the goddess of chaos as a reward for the human. In the Book of Legends, there are 10 pillars of gods and goddesses who created this world. They are the sun, silver moon, oceans, birth, fire, storm, forest, beast, hell, and chaos. Rumors in the Book of Legends say that they are the reincarnation of humans from another world, and each acquires their own powers. After this world was created, they created a reincarnation system for humans. Then the gods and goddesses made children and gave birth to more than 78 children of God's descendants. In the Reincarnated as a Sword fandom website, they wrote according to the light novel that there is only one goddess in this world, the goddess of chaos. So you can imagine how tired the goddess of chaos must be to serve other gods to give birth to so many children. Years passed, and children of gods and goddesses created all kinds of things in this world, including gods of forging, swords, cooking, and darkness. Thanks to them, the world has become more beautiful and colorful. But the goddess of chaos also makes challenges to test the mental and motivation of humans. The goddess of chaos is not evil. She does this because human development must be able to advance so that their lives are not monotonous. Some time has passed, and the god of war has extraordinary power, challenging other gods to obtain even greater power. But unfortunately, the god of war died from swallowing too much power. Finally, the gods and goddess decided to cut off the body of the god of war and be sealed into this world. However, some seals couldn't completely contain the remaining power within the god of war's body, so that power created many evil monsters in this world. On the other hand, the dungeon master was seen having fun because the goblin kingdom could finally flourish. Then there was also a demonic monster summoned by the dungeon master. Before this video ends, there is a bonus fan service scene in this episode. I skipped it because I just wanted to take the story's main point. Before Fran and Shisho went to sleep, they went to the inn's hot spring to freshen up, and Shisho was forced to come along because he was hugged by Fran. While taking a bath together, Shisho blushed at seeing Fran's body. Well, even though the Shisho in the previous world was 30 years old, he still had male instincts. While Fran's reaction was normal because Shisho was just a sword and she didn't know that Shisho was a reincarnated person. Not long after, Nell and her friends came to take a bath. Unfortunately, this anime is for children aged 13 years and over, so we can't see the usual scenes in anime for teenagers aged 18 years and over. This is an example of an illustration from the manga. So that's all the fan service scene comments for those who have watched this bonus scene. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe too.